In this video, we're continuing our discussion around Ctq development, building Ctq statements in the define phase. And what I thought I'd do is bring in an applied case, one that we looked at earlier, the travel reimbursement case. So if you haven't yet taken a look at the concepts behind Ctq development, I encourage you to look at that earlier video. And if you haven't yet seen the travel reimbursement case, to take a look at that earlier video as well. And we'll go from there. Let's take a look at some additional Ctq statement development using process map analysis and VOC interview analysis. I'm looking at the travel reimbursement case. It's a poorly performing process that we've discussed in earlier videos, and I've got the process map that describes the first 4 steps of this poorly performing system. The additional steps are excluded just to make it simple and to fit on this page. We know that the total lead time of 7 weeks is frustrating. We want to improve the time it takes to complete travel reimbursement. And so we're looking at some of the critical to quality variables that contribute to this total lead time of 7 weeks. Well, one thing that we could do is we could take a look at our process map and let's identify a couple of CTQs that could be measured from information we'd like to get from the map. A real simple CTQ statement might be about the cycle times. And in particular, we might be interested in the cycle time to fill out the form. So there is an example of a critical to quality variable where we're measuring this time in the form fill out box. Another CTQ might be related to the rework loop. And it could be something really simple like what's the number of times that it goes from region G, from data entry, back to region A, back to the form filler outers. But then after refining, maybe we refine that down and say it's not just the total number of times, maybe it's the number of times that it does that in a given time period. And a third CTQ might be related to that same rework loop, but now it's about what's creating that rework, where we're doing rank sort ordering of the error types that are identified in the sendbacks. You see how CTQs are iterative in nature. We started with the rework loop, we came up with something simple, but then we got something that was much more insightful. We can also do this with the vague VOC that we're looking at. If one of the vague voice of customer feedback statements was from the local manager here in Region C, and their response was, well, I'm just really busy right now. What do they want me to do? Drop everything and check the form? Taking that frustrating or emotional statement and converting it into something that could be measured, that'd be an example of Ctq development. Like where we take a look at the average amount of time that the local manager spends on form review per week. That would be an example of yet another CTQ. Our job in the define phase is to craft these statements. We'll create a large list of possible CTQs. In the measure phase, we won't measure them all. We don't have enough time or resources to do that. But from this big list, we'll prioritize and choose the CTQs that are most insightful and useful for further current state analysis. Ctq development begins with statement creation and then ends in the measure phase when we actually go out and do data collection.